since the removal of Ice Block and the nerf of the Fisherman's range, Miner have been destroying in the meta. I see a lot of people struggling with countering him, so I made a list of 9 tips to help you absolutely destroy the Miner. First tip revolves around understanding the priority of his targeting. If you have 2 ranged minis, one being with a super, let's say a Royal Champion, you need to place it to the left of the non-super ranged mini, let's say a Magic Archer. Because the Miner prioritizes targeting the right side first, this will save your Royal Champion from the energy draining effect. But if you place the Royal Champion to the right of the Magic Archer, the Miner will target on it and the energy drain will destroy its super. So basically, the more to the left your Royal Champion is, the better it is for you. The second counter is the Shield Maiden. If you suspect your opponent has a Miner, or if you are in a Miner meta, place your Shield Maiden in the back, so when she fills her super, the taunt will redirect the Miner into her. You could also place your ranged minis closer to the Shield Maiden a little bit up, so the taunt effect would pull the Miner. The third counter is the Pekka. Because the Pekka is very slow, you can get away with placing her in the back, and you don't even need to invest that much onto it, as well as just having 1-star Pekka should be enough for you to destroy the Miner. 1-star Pekka costs the same as a 3-star Miner, so it will always be a fair trade for you. The fourth counter is a bit complicated, so bear with me. If you notice here on the range of your Magic Archer, there is a single tile of range at the end of his max range. Place him so that this tile is directly on your opponent's tank. If the Miner is placed on that same lane as the Magic Archer, he will push the Magic Archer out of range, which means he will have to pick another target, and the Miner is the closest one to him, so he will retarget on the Miner and kill it early. The reason this needs to be on the max range is if it wasn't, then your Magic Archer will get pushed and the tank would still be inside of his range. This can work with any ranged mini, but for things with less range like the Ice Wizard, you need your opponent's tank to be on the first row instead of the second row. The fifth counter is the Archer. If you place her away from your enemy backline where she would only target their main tank, the second arrow will always go on the Miner since nothing else is in sight. Keep in mind, this would not work if the enemy has 2 tanks, but majority of Miner players just use the Barbarian King as their only tank, and this trick is key to win Barbarian King versus Barbarian King mirror matchups. The sixth counter is the Mega Knight. You need to make sure you place the Mega Knight on the same side of your ranged minis. While it's not super hard counter, I believe it's pretty decent enough to keep in mind. The second star on the Mega Knight makes it so the range will reach all the way to the enemy Miner, which will disrupt him a lot and give some chance for your ranged minis to survive longer. The seventh counter is the Fisherman. As long as the enemy Miner is placed within the first 3 rows, you should be able to pull him with the Fisherman, no problem. The problem is if they placed him on the last row, your Fisherman will no longer be able to reach him. But don't worry, that's not a problem anymore with this technique that I created. If you pull a low HP mini, like let's say a Lumberjack, then your backline will lock onto it instead of locking on the Barbarian King or like the main tank of your opponent. By the time they take the Lumberjack out, the Miner would already be done digging, which means your backline will target him next. The eighth counter is the Prince. You can cancel a Miner's clash ability with the Prince if he is within the first 3 rows, like how you can do with the Fisherman. The only difference is that the Prince is able to reach the 4th row. Well, kind of, not necessarily every time. Let me explain. The way this works is, it is a true blue, true red issue, so one of the 2 players will stun him while the other one will miss. To put this clearly, it's a 50-50 coin flip chance, which is kind of still worth gambling on in some cases. And the ninth final counter is the Musketeer. I missed the old ability where she had the clash ability of energy charge, but don't worry, we have a substitute. Using the third ability on the Electro Wizard, you can create a similar effect where the Musketeer can fill up the super bar immediately to stun the Miner for a while. Also, the Musketeer might push away the enemy tank out of range, causing your ranged minis to retarget on the Miner. So, do you have any other tips? Comment them down below, my dude.